ego, arrogance, self-importance, and the role of denial in sustaining political delusions. Introduction. Political systems and leaders are heavily influenced by psychological factors, such as ego, arrogance, and self-importance. These traits, when unchecked, can result in delusions about one's role, capabilities, or policies, which may distort both governance and decision-making. Political delusions, false or distorted beliefs held by individuals or groups in power, are often reinforced by denial of reality. Furthermore, these delusions are frequently amplified through echo chambers, in which like-minded individuals shield themselves from contrary perspectives. This report explores how inflated egos, arrogance, and self-importance manifest in the political realm, the role of denial in maintaining political delusions, and the ways echo chambers reinforce these distortions. The role of ego, arrogance, and self-importance in politics. Ego. Ego is central to one's sense of identity. A healthy ego allows individuals to navigate life with confidence and self-assurance. However, when the ego becomes inflated, it can lead to a distorted self-perception. People may overestimate their abilities, intelligence, or importance, leading to arrogance or grandiosity. In politics, ego plays a significant role in shaping leaders' identities and decision-making processes. A healthy level of ego allows politicians to project confidence and assertiveness, necessary qualities for leadership. However, an overinflated ego can lead politicians to believe that they are uniquely suited to solve all problems, or that their vision is the only correct one, causing them to dismiss alternative viewpoints. Arrogance. Arrogance is an exaggerated belief in one's superiority over others. It stems from an inflated ego and manifests as an attitude of entitlement or condescension. Arrogant individuals often dismiss contrary opinions or constructive feedback, believing that they are inherently more capable or knowledgeable. Arrogance in politics arises when leaders believe they are superior to their opponents, advisors, or even the general population. This often results in a refusal to engage in open dialogue or consider dissenting opinions. Arrogant leaders tend to surround themselves with sycophants who reinforce their views rather than providing constructive criticism, which further isolates them from reality. Self-importance. Self-importance is the belief that one's actions, opinions, or existence carry more significance than others. While a sense of self-worth is necessary for personal development, an exaggerated sense of self-importance can make individuals blind to their own flaws and limitations. Self-importance in the political sphere can manifest as a belief that one's role or policies are more significant than they actually are. Politicians with an inflated sense of self-importance may believe that their actions are crucial for the nation's survival or prosperity, even when their policies are ineffective or harmful. This exaggerated sense of importance often leads to decision-making based on personal legacy rather than public benefit. These traits can be positive motivators when tempered with humility and self-awareness. However, when taken to extremes, they become catalysts for delusions, a false or distorted perception of reality. These traits, ego, arrogance, and self-importance, are particularly dangerous in politics because they can lead to a detachment from the realities of governance. Politicians may prioritize their own sense of superiority over the well-being of the people they serve, resulting in misguided policies or authoritarian behavior. Delusion and denial of reality. Delusions can arise from the unchecked expansion of ego, arrogance, and self-importance. When individuals overinflate their self-worth or capabilities, they may create a mental framework that supports their perceived superiority. In this state, they may begin to deny any information or feedback that contradicts their beliefs. Denial of reality occurs when individuals refuse to accept evidence that challenges their worldview. This denial serves as a psychological defense mechanism, protecting the ego from threats. The cognitive dissonance between reality and their inflated self-image, resolved through rejection or reinterpretation of contradictory information. For example, a person who believes they are a great leader might ignore or downplay evidence that their leadership is ineffective. They may instead blame external factors, shift responsibility to others, or rationalize their failures. Political delusion and denial of reality. Political delusions occur when politicians or political movements maintain false beliefs about their effectiveness, policies, or public support. Such delusions are often sustained by denial, a refusal to accept facts or evidence that contradicts one's worldview. Denial of reality in politics. Denial in politics manifests when leaders or political groups refuse to acknowledge failures, poor outcomes, or legitimate opposition. Rather than adjusting policies in response to negative outcomes, they may deflect blame onto external forces or enemies. This denial can serve as a defense mechanism, protecting politicians from the psychological discomfort of acknowledging failure or weakness. Examples of political delusion. Leaders of authoritarian regimes may believe they are beloved by their citizens, despite widespread evidence of dissatisfaction or oppression. A politician might continue to promote policies proven to be ineffective, convinced that their unique insight or approach will eventually lead to success. Political movements may believe that they represent the true will of the people even when election results or polling data suggest otherwise. These delusions can have far-reaching consequences, from flawed policy decisions to social unrest. The longer political delusions are maintained through denial, the greater the potential for harm, as problems are left unresolved or exacerbated by faulty governance. Intentional versus unintentional political delusions. Unintentional delusions. In many cases, delusions are unintentional and arise from cognitive biases. Individuals might genuinely believe in their false perceptions due to limited knowledge or an inability to objectively assess their own behavior. This type of delusion is often subconscious and not a deliberate attempt to distort reality. In some cases, political delusions are unintentional. Politicians or their supporters may genuinely believe in the effectiveness or moral righteousness of their policies, even when the evidence suggests otherwise. Cognitive biases, such as confirmation bias, can lead individuals to overlook, dismiss evidence that contradicts their beliefs. In this sense, political delusions can arise from sincere but misguided beliefs. Intentional delusions. In contrast, intentional delusions occur when individuals consciously manipulate facts to suit their narrative. This can happen when people refuse to accept responsibility for their actions or when they seek to maintain power, status, or self-esteem. In these cases, individuals may be aware of the truth, but choose to reject it, to preserve their inflated self-image. In other instances, political delusions are intentional. Leaders may deliberately manipulate information or craft false narratives to maintain power or control. For example, authoritarian leaders often manufacture delusions about external threats to justify draconian measures. By creating a false sense of crisis or enemy, they manipulate public perception to remain in power. Echo chambers and the amplification of political delusions. An echo chamber refers to an environment where individuals are only exposed to information, beliefs, and opinions that reinforce their pre-existing views. Social media platforms, closed communities, or curated news sources can serve as echo chambers, isolating individuals from dissenting voices. In the modern political landscape, echo chambers have become one of the most powerful forces, amplifying political delusions. An echo chamber is a closed environment, both online and offline, where individuals or groups are only exposed to information that aligns with their existing beliefs. This occurs frequently in political media, social networks, and polarized communities. Social media and political echo chambers. Social media platforms are especially susceptible to becoming echo chambers, where algorithms amplify content that aligns with users' preferences. Politicians, parties, and their supporters use these platforms to disseminate information that reinforces their viewpoints, often while ignoring or discrediting dissenting opinions. This selective exposure fosters an environment where political delusions can thrive, as people are shielded from facts or arguments that challenge their beliefs. Confirmation bias in politics. People naturally gravitate toward information that confirms their beliefs, while ignoring or discrediting contrary evidence. In echo chambers, confirmation bias is intensified, as individuals are continuously exposed to information that validates their distorted self-perceptions. In an echo chamber, confirmation bias plays a significant role in sustaining political delusions. Individuals are more likely to accept information that confirms their beliefs and dismiss information that contradicts them. As political leaders and their followers become entrenched in these feedback loops, delusions about their policies or public support can become more extreme. Groupthink in political movements. Groupthink occurs when individuals in a group prioritize harmony and consensus over critical thinking. In echo chambers, groupthink can lead to the collective reinforcement of delusions. The group's agreement can make individuals feel more justified in their false beliefs, even if those beliefs are detached from reality. Within political movements or parties, groupthink can lead to collective delusions. Political leaders and their followers may become so focused on maintaining internal unity that they suppress dissent or critical analysis. This creates a situation where flawed policies or unrealistic goals are pursued without question, as any challenge to the prevailing narrative is seen as disloyal or dangerous. Reinforcement through social feedback. Echo chambers often reward conformity through social feedback such as likes, shares, or praise. This creates a positive reinforcement loop, where individuals feel validated for their beliefs, regardless of their accuracy. The fear of social rejection or criticism from within the group discourages dissent, further entrenching the delusion. Reinforcement of delusions by partisan media. Partisan media outlets further reinforce political delusions by providing selective coverage that supports the preferred narratives of their audience. For example, media on the far right or far left may present biased or incomplete information that paints their political opponents as incompetent or corrupt while idealizing their own side. This one-sided coverage strengthens the delusions of political leaders and their supporters by validating their distorted views. Consequences of political delusion. Delusions sustained by ego, arrogance, and denial can have serious consequences for individuals and society. On a personal level, delusions can lead to poor decision-making, damaged relationships, and a lack of personal growth. When influential figures or leaders maintain delusions, the consequences can ripple out, affecting entire organizations, communities, or nations. This is especially true in the realm of politics, business, and social movements, where echo chambers often exacerbate polarized thinking and inhibit meaningful dialogue. Political delusions, especially when sustained and amplified through echo chambers, can have serious consequences for governance, public trust, and social cohesion. These consequences include poor policy decisions. Delusions about the effectiveness of certain policies can lead to wasted resources, social unrest, or economic instability. For example, politicians who refuse to acknowledge the negative effects of their policies may continue down a destructive path, believing that success is just around the corner. Erosion of democratic norms. When political leaders deny reality, they undermine public trust in democratic institutions. A refusal to accept election results or accusations of widespread fraud without evidence can weaken the legitimacy of elections and fuel polarization. Polarization and division. Echo chambers can deepen political divisions, as different groups become increasingly isolated from each other's perspectives. This can result in a society where dialogue and compromise become nearly impossible, leading to gridlock, social unrest, or even violence. Conclusion: in politics, ego, arrogance, and self-importance can lead to delusions that distort governance and decision-making. These delusions are often maintained through denial of reality and amplified by the echo chambers created by partisan media, social networks, and political polarization. Understanding the role of these psychological factors in political life is crucial for fostering more open, fact-based discourse, which is essential for healthy governance and societal cohesion. Without confronting these delusions, politics risks becoming more polarized and detached from reality, with severe consequences for democratic systems and global stability.